Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for another fun filled Tuesday of gardening talk, right? we are, we've been busy all morning, I feel like. We've been doing a lot of preserving and I've been making videos too. So I'm going to be posting videos very soon of everything we're preserving. We're going through and preserving a lot of things. We got beans and peppers right now that are just exploding in the garden right now. It's exciting. And we actually just went out and we planted a bunch more flowers the other day. So that's exciting. Some of them are coming up. And there's a lot of flowers. So as I was looking over this talk for looking at like the top 10 flowers to that you can still grow in direct sow right now in July. There were so many options, and it's making me want to go back out into the garden, find all of my seeds, and plant a variety of things. Because the other day I planted a lot of zinnias, but I didn't do a lot of these other ones too. So I'm like, ooh, you see, I learn something new every day too. So it's not just you guys. So, welcome everybody. I am so happy that you are joining us today. I see we have a lot of people joining us in the chat. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. And hopefully, you all can pop into the chat and say hello. I love to see everybody's comments, and I love to pop up everybody's texts and everything and to see everybody. Um, I am here in Zone 7. I'm in Oklahoma City. I would love to see where all of you guys are located. And we're going to be talking a little bit about all of the flowers. So, things that you can start hopefully everywhere that you guys are. So, I included some that are a little bit more cold tolerant, some that are not cold tolerant and they'll tolerate the heat great. So, hopefully, that way it'll be a little bit for everybody. And a lot of my favorites are on the list. I'm sure a lot of you guys will guess which ones as we're going through. But there are so many amazing flowers that you can still start today. So I'm excited about that. Um, I do want to let you know too, before we get too far into this talk, that we are going to be doing a giveaway also. Here, I'll pull it up real quick. It is exciting. It is an amazing week for a giveaway, right? Because there's still a lot of things that you can plant. So you will be entered to win every time you go over here, comment, ask a question, and you'll be entered to win for this amazing giveaway. You're going to be it's a 1 year free premium from Seed to Spoon app subscription. So if you do not already have our app, make sure you download it right now. Looks like there we go. I popped it up there. Our QR code to download the app is right up there. And so just scan that. It will help walk you through growing over 100 different fruits, vegetables, herbs, and give you exact planting dates based on your location. It'll help with pest management and companion planting, recipes. You name it. There's Growbot also. So with a premium subscription, you can actually send Growbot pictures too now. And you can do pest identification, plant help. So if you have a plant that's not doing well, you can snap a picture of it, send it to Growbot, and Growbot will help walk you through knowing what to do. So it saved my butt a lot so far this season. I have loved it. So I've been out there a lot, taking pictures, sending it to Growbot, being like, okay, what can I do for this plant? And it gives amazing suggestions. I love it. Also, with 1 year premium, you get free shipping on all orders through the app. And that is on all of the items in Park Seeds. So we have the entire Park Seeds store into the app now. You just need to go to the top and select shop from the app, and you will be able to see all of Park Seeds products, which is really exciting. And then also, so the winner is going to get that. And then also some flower seeds that you can still be planting right now from Park Seed. And also a smart pot fabric raised bed that you can plant your seeds in. I am a huge fan of smart pots. If you guys have not checked them out, you guys need to. They are incredible. We grow a lot of our stuff in it. Primarily most everything we grow is in a smart pot because they just do so well. And whenever I first tried them out, I had my hesitation, but I was blown away by how amazing the plants did in them. We did comparison testing too. We had several raised beds together and we had a smart pot together and all that, and it did so much better than all the others. So we transitioned to pretty much just all smart pots, and they're amazing. So if you haven't gotten to try them, you definitely need to try those. You can get those through the app with free shipping if you have premium also. And or if you are the lucky winner, you can also get one of those today to try out. So make sure you guys are commenting and enter to win. It's an amazing one. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the amazing plants that you can still be growing today. So there's so many flowers, and I went through and found like the ones that you can still be growing today and calculate out their bloom time and all of that. So sunflowers are an amazing addition. I am a huge fan. They grow wild in our garden now because we planted them a lot in the beginning, and now they're wild everywhere. They have taken over. I love it. It's a great problem for me to have. I love it. I love fighting sunflower weeds rather than other types of weeds. I would much rather have sunflowers. Um, so these ones will be blooming within about 2 months. So that way you can hopefully get these in the ground today. You can get blooms before you have your first fall frost, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Um, and I do want to mention too, so a lot of our favorites varieties, Dale's going to be popping up on the screen for me. So if you wanted to check out these ones that we're talking about, and there's the seeds from Park Seed right here, you just need to scan that QR code right there, and it'll take you directly to Park Seed's website, and it'll show you the listing for it. Oh, great question, Yvette. So she says, can the huge, tall sunflowers be grown in smart pots? Absolutely. It is, we've grown like single, like 1 gallon smart pot before. Accidentally, we grew like a mammoth sunflower. It was like 10 feet tall at least. And it was just huge. It was amazing. But we grew it in this little tiny smart pot, and it just grew amazing. I mean, we did have to give it some support because it would like topple over because it was so tall, but otherwise like it'll do great. And if you do grow it in a larger smart pot, which we would have if we had done it purposefully, it would absolutely thrive in there 100%. So I do want to mention sunflowers are ones that are very, very heat tolerant. So if you guys are in the south or in the center, this is a great one to be planting right now. They are not very cold tolerant too. So if your first fall frost is coming soon, might be one that you want to pass on, or do one that's just a really fast bloomer. So sunflowers are amazing to be adding into your summer garden if you haven't already. And then zinnias, of course, I love zinnias. So they are one of my favorites. They are, oh, great, the Parks Picks Mix. Yeah, these are one of my favorites. And I'm growing these right now in my garden, these Parks Picks Mix zinnia, because they have all sorts of different colors, and I love it. It's a different variety. I like having a mixture of different colors out there. Zinnias are one that are super simple. Really, all you need to do is go out there and toss some seeds. So you don't have to do a whole bunch to get these to bloom for you. So these are ones that if you are not wanting to spend a lot of time out in the garden, which I wouldn't blame you because it is extremely hot out there right now, especially in the middle of the day, but just go out there, toss out some seeds. These zinnias will do amazing for you. So they are very good, heat tolerant. They won't do well in the cold, but they will tolerate the heat like none other. And they will bloom amazing for you. And the great thing is if you will let some of these go to seed, they'll drop a lot of their seeds into the ground as well, and they'll tend to reseed themselves. So next season, you will have like very early spring, they'll start blooming. Well, not blooming, but they'll start growing first thing, and you'll have zinnias all season long next year. So I love growing zinnias for that reason, just because they're so easy to, and they're just an easy way to add a bunch of color to your garden and bring in a lot of extra pollinators to your garden too. They attract so many like bees and butterflies, everything just loves these zinnias. So this, I can't talk about zinnias enough, honestly. They are incredible. So zinnias definitely need to be adding to your garden for sure. Okay, next we have cosmos. So I've grown cosmos a lot before too in the past, and these are another extremely simple one. I try to keep a lot of these flowers like the more simple ones that you can tend to just, they're super easy to direct seed because I want to make it, if you're planting in the middle of summer, you don't want to be like out there a lot trying to tend to your flowers, trying to get them to bloom. And these are ones that tend to be very easy. So cosmos, they don't really care much about the soil. They are a great addition to. They are incredibly beautiful. I mean, look at them. So they're named actually. I thought this was really funny for their unique like beauty, and they're named after the cosmos because it was very pretty. I was like, oh, I love that. But cosmos again is something that is extremely simple. They're very like drought resistant too. So it's a great one to be planting in the middle of summer so you don't have to be doing a lot of work out there in the middle of the summer when it's super hot out. So I would definitely recommend getting some cosmos out there. It'd be really simple for you. Okay, and marigolds, of course, had to make the list because marigolds are something that, I mean, we've grown in our garden since the very beginning. Even when we were just doing vegetables, we always had to have some marigolds because they make an amazing companion plant. So, marigolds are just one of the favorites because they will do so much for your garden because it'll help with, especially with like your tomatoes. I always have marigolds planted next to my tomatoes. I have like a force field of marigolds like just planted around plants to protect a lot of my veggies. And they are amazing at protecting plants as well as bringing in beneficials and ladybugs and all of those. So these are an amazing addition. They bloom super fast and they grow really fast, very easily, and I definitely recommend trying out these Parks Whopper marigolds. And if you guys are on our Instagram or TikTok or anything like that, I actually posted just the short reel last night because I was out there in the garden. I was like, oh my gosh, these Whopper marigold seeds are, they're just beautiful. Like it was like the size of my palm was the size of those flowers. They were huge and they're just so prolific. They do so incredible. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about the Parks Whopper marigolds. They are incredible. They have orange, they have yellow, and then there's also a mix of the two that they have together. Um, so they're both incredible. I love them. So marigolds again are going to be ones that are very heat tolerant, so you don't have to be worried a whole bunch about planting them in the middle of July. They are ones that will thrive for you. And they won't last very long into the fall because they're not very cold tolerant, um, but they'll do great for you. Yes, so this is a great question. Can I grow marigolds in containers? Absolutely. Most everything that we grow grows really well in containers. And marigolds, I actually just, because I grow my tomatoes in containers too, and I just plant my tomatoes into larger smart pots. And I put a marigold, usually a marigold and a basil together, into the same smart pot with the tomato. So you can put them into a container with something else. You can put it into its own container. It will do great. Ooh, yeah, I like planting marigolds and zinnias together. Yeah, that does sound beautiful. I mean, you can't go wrong with these flowers, right? Because they're so pretty. Okay, I have several marigolds, but they are not putting out very many flowers. What might help it to get more flowers? So, most likely, sun is affecting it. Typically, whenever that happens, it's a lack of sun. So, if it's in a container, you could try adjusting it, or it's maybe getting shaded out by like a tomato next to it or something like that. Espoma also has like some fertilizers as well. Um, there's one that's like a flower boost or something along those lines. But there's a spoma fertilizer just for flowers also, that will help you too. Okay. Are there any veggies or fruits that marigolds should not be planted with? We do not plant them with beans, but pretty much everything else we pretty much plant them with. They will thrive with a lot of things. So, yeah, especially tomatoes. Can marigolds do both sun and shade? No. So marigolds are ones that are going to need full sun in order to bloom. I mean, they'll still grow with some shade, but they're not going to give you the blooms that you're going to want to see unless you give it some full sun. Okay. And then nasturtiums. So nasturtiums are really unique too because you can actually eat the entire plant. Did you guys know that? I thought that was really interesting. Um, it's supposed to be almost like a peppery flavor. But I would love to hear if anybody has actually eaten nasturtiums before, because we have grown nasturtiums in the past, but this is our first year from growing them from seed too. So that was fun. I love doing that. Um, and they're beautiful. I absolutely love them. I'm a huge fan of nasturtiums, and we planted a lot of them next to our tomatoes. Again, we were doing a lot of companion planting with nasturtiums. They are great for companion planting for repelling some pests, and they also work as a trap crop for attracting some pests. So that way, it like protects some of your veggies. So it works in a lot of ways. Also bringing in beneficials because it's so pretty. But nasturtiums grow so large. There's some nasturtiums that will vine and take over, and there's some that grow like compact, like as a small like bush almost. But there's quite the variety of nasturtiums. We were growing a little bit of everything. We grew like every variety of them that Park Seeds sells because this was our first time trying to grow them, and I was like, I want to try them all and see how they all do. I love them. And so these are once again, they're going to bloom very fast for you. And they are heat tolerant as well as cold tolerant too. So these are great ones to be planting right now, especially if you're up north too, where you are worried that maybe your first fall frost is going to be coming in. Awesome. Jan says, yes, nasturtiums are very tasty. That's terrific. I love to hear it. Are nasturtiums perennials? So no, I mean, ours will not be coming back, but they will be. We'll plant them again, and they're incredibly tasty, apparently. So I want to try it. You guys need to give me some recipes for nasturtiums. All my nasturtiums have taken a dive due to heat. I'm sorry. Are there heat loving ones? Um, Well, you know what? I don't know about the specific varieties. I'd have to look into the specific varieties. I don't know off the top of my head. But I will say if you give it a little bit of shade whenever it gets really hot, it will help, especially in like afternoon shade. It'll help a lot. And that's something that I do like with my tomatoes as well sometimes too, whenever it gets really hot. Um, so if you put them like on the north side of your tomatoes too, or just put it on something where it's going to give you a little bit of shade, um, it'll help them out too. Okay. And next, morning glories. So, morning glories are something I do feel like are controversial. Some people love them, some people hate them. So, I still wanted to include them because they are an amazing flower for, especially if you are wanting to get some color out fast. But I will say that with the be careful when planting them. Do not plant them in a garden bed that you want to be planting other things in because they will take over. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because you want a color, um, but they will grow very large and very tall too. They are a very great vining flower. And so my favorite way to grow these, I have these arches that I grew them actually in our front yard. I had a little arch right in front of our front door, and I put morning glories all along the front of it. And they grow and just take over the entire thing. It's beautiful. And these flowers are just incredible. And there's so many different colors, and there's amazing. I am a huge fan of morning glories, but we do have to be very careful because they will take over an entire bed. And typically we plant morning glories in areas that we're not going to be in our food area. We keep this one separate. So I will say it is like toxic to dogs too. So you do have to be careful. Like if your dog likes to eat plants, make sure you're careful with that. That's another reason why we have these in our front yard and not in our backyard or anything like that. But we just wanted to keep it away from our food, keep it contained into its own container, its own area. Um, but it is one that is extremely beautiful. It will thrive. It'll give you these huge blooms. Absolutely beautiful. So it's definitely worth it to try and plant it if you have a great space that you want to add a bunch of, like a wall of color, essentially. Okay, and then bachelor's buttons or cornflowers. These are one that I really wanted to add because I love them. They are so pretty. And these ones, again, are going to do really well in, they will do good in the heat, but they'll also have some cold tolerance as well. So these are ones that will last a little bit later into the season for you, or great for those that are up north. They will bloom. It's a little longer of a bloom, but it's great because they do have some cold tolerance, so they will last longer into the season for you. Um, but these ones are, I mean, look at them. They're so pretty. But it's so funny. They're named because they are so pretty and they're perfect for like cut flowers for wearing for like boutonnieres and things like that, because they're so pretty. Um, so these are really great ones to be planting pretty much anywhere that you are right now because it will tolerate a little bit of the cold come fall. And then Alyssum is also the same as those bachelor buttons. So these actually will have a really great cold tolerance too. So you can have you can be planting them now, and then you can keep them going hopefully through the fall. And these ones you will get blooming really fast. So they're known for being very small, compact plants, flowers. They're really great for like ground cover or having container plants, like or in front of a container. They're really great, real small, tiny little flowers, so pretty. But they have all sorts of different colors too that you can check out. Um, I'm growing some alyssum for the first time this year too, and it's pretty exciting. I love it. So this is a great way to add in a bunch of color on your ground level, and also to be bringing in all sorts of pollinators, especially the bees. These are amazing to be bringing in all sorts of pollinators. Oh, this is great from Yvette. She's heard that alyssum are good living mulch for sure. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that idea, and it'll help to protect like the plants around it to keep the ground a little cooler for the other plants. So I definitely recommend checking out some alyssum. Okay, 4 o'clocks. Had to include 4 o'clocks. I actually grew these for the first time. Oh gosh, I mean it's been years now since we grew these the first time, and the kids were so excited because they were always like, "Ooh, it's 4 o'clock. I'm gonna go check on the 4 o'clocks." So they would always make jokes about it. But they are aptly named. So it's interesting because they will like perk up and they will start to bloom whenever it comes to the afternoon time, and they will stay open and so all evening and night. And so they're supposed to be really great for bringing in like the night pollinators as well. So things like moths, like to your garden. So these ones are a really unique addition, and they're super pretty. I really like these ones. And they have like just this unique, like the colors that I really like them. they're probably one of my favorites, and the kids always thought it was so funny because they're like, "Ooh, it's 4 o'clock," so it's pretty funny. Those ones are heat tolerant, not cold tolerant though. So make sure that you will have enough time for them to bloom. So give it about 2 months, and you will have some beautiful blooms. And then petunias, of course, I had to include petunias still because they are probably one of my favorite flowers. Just because like there are so many unique varieties. I Probably my favorite are like the super bismuth, like have like double the petals almost. They're so pretty, but there's so many different varieties and colors and I mean, yeah, they're so unique. I love it. So these ones again will bloom within a few months. They are heat tolerant and they will tolerate some cold too. So I will definitely say that these ones you still have time. If you have not started your petunias yet, do that. And I'm going to do that as well because I did not start enough petunias. We started like an entire tray of petunias this year, but it was not enough. I need more. I love them. They're probably one of my favorite. And I Park Seed has so many different varieties, so I really do just want to go through and try all of them because they're just all so pretty. Okay, so are there any questions first of all, and then we'll go through. We'll answer a few more questions. I know we tried to pull up some during the time, but we'll go through and answer a few more questions, and then we will go through and announce our giveaway winner. So if you are joining late, don't forget to be commenting in the chat to be entering to win the flower seeds from Park Seed, a Smart Pots raised bed, which is exciting, and also the 1 year free premium from Seed to Spoon Access. Okay, so Chrissy says, I often go back into the GrowBot history at the end of the week to journal what I've learned and tried in my garden. That's awesome. Yeah, terrific. So, Chrissy, I will say that we actually have a new feature that we are testing right now. I actually just emailed some of you guys who are our testers right before this to let you know. But we have a new feature that is going to be coming here very soon with the GrowBot. So whenever you get a response back from GrowBot, you can now add it into your garden notes. So if you are like identifying a pest or if it's help for like something related to one of your plants, you can now add it to that plant. So that way you can keep track of it just like you were doing. So hopefully that feature will help make it a lot easier for you. I love it. I know what I'll be planning today. I know, me too. I always like. It's so funny whenever I'm talking food on these. I always get hungry and I'm like, I want to eat. And then now when I'm talking flowers, I'm like, ooh, I want to go plant all the flowers. So yes, I totally feel you. I know what I'm going to be planting today too. Okay, can zinnias be grown in containers? Absolutely. I mean, you can grow zinnias anywhere and everywhere because they are so easy. Like, I'm not even joking when I say all I do to plant zinnias is I go out there and toss the seeds around. I really do just go through and sprinkle an area that I want zinnias pop up, and they will pop up. Containers, raised beds, the ground. Yeah, they're not picky. Zinnias are great. Are zinnias deer resistant? Yes, to an extent. I mean, as long as there's, they won't be attracted to it. I will say that. But I'm not going to say that they won't eat it, but they are supposed to be somewhat deer resistant. Okay. Oh, can you tell us a little more about Smart Pot? I haven't seen one before. Awesome. Well, yeah, we actually do have one back here. So they're just these fabric raised beds right here, or fabric containers. So they have all sorts of different sizes, anywhere from 1 gallon, which is this one, and then all the way up to like huge 100 gallon um, huge round raised beds. There's also like long beds that you can put along porches. Like they're amazing. So they're these fabric raised beds right here. They're just like this little fabric, super durable. It works amazing. And what's great is that it lets air into the side as well. So it helps to promote the root growth. So with like a typical like plastic container, like over here, you can kind of see I have this plastic container right here. So that type right there, like the roots down on the bottom of there, I can guarantee you are just going around in circles, and eventually, like I'm gonna have to take that out of there because it doesn't thrive well. But whenever they're in the smart pot, like the roots don't do that. It grows up and like it doesn't do that. It's amazing. I love them. They have these transplanters as well. So we have like some of our peppers and tomatoes like in these little transplanters. Whenever we whenever we first are planting them out, and I mean, there's so many things that are so great about them. I love them. Okay, I can't reach back. I'm listening to that right there. Okay, so do zinnias and cosmos make for a good cup? Okay, for sure, yes. And one of the great things too are I feel like the more you cut, the more you get, which I know I always go out there and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to cut them because I feel bad. But the more you cut, the more that you will get back. So I don't feel bad cutting anymore, and I bring them into the kitchen. I enjoy them for a long time, and then outside they're working on making a whole lot more for me. Do cosmos reseed themselves? Yes. So that's one of the great things about them too. So at the end of the season, they'll drop their seeds too, and then the next spring, hopefully, you will get some more popping up where you had them right then. So that's what's so great about a lot of these flowers. I mean, cosmos, zinnias, sunflowers. I mean, pretty much everything I feel like that we talked about do this, and they're amazing. Okay, what potting soil is good for a container garden? So we typically make our own soil for whenever we're doing that, and um, we do a mixture of a few different things. So we do some vermiculite. So we usually do equal portions of this. So vermiculite, compost, and then coconut coir. So if we do like a mixture of all of those, and then we have that inside of our containers, and it works really great for us. I know it's not like sometimes people want to just buy something, so I would just recommend getting something that's as high quality as possible because the soil is where everything starts, right? And having really good high quality compost is going to be key. So I would look at like a nursery or something along those lines to see if you can find some potting soil in a bag. Are all sunflower seeds edible or certain varieties only? So, yes. So they will be edible, but there's certain ones that are like designed for seeds or designed for oil. Like there's certain sunflowers that like certain varieties that are more for one than the other. And it's depending what you want it for too. So we like to do the sunflower seeds. So we grow a lot of the mammoth ones because they give you a whole bunch of those, and it's very pretty. But there are some that grow like pretty much no seeds, and it's interesting. They're so pretty, but we love to eat sunflower seeds because they're. If you haven't ever tried them before, you need to try them. They're so good. You will never want to buy store bought sunflower seeds again. Okay, so Mary says, I just got here late. Oh, well, at least you're here. Better late than never, right? Can I still plant zinnia seeds here in Maine, zone 5A? So, zinnias are one that I did mention earlier. So, I will say too, like, zinnias are one that are in our From Seed to Spoon app. If you don't already have our From Seed to Spoon app, we have a QR code right up there in the top corner. Um, Download that today, and it will give you exact planting dates based on your location for all of the things in there. Zinnias are in there. It'll tell you when you can be planting them related to your specific prostates. But yeah, zinnias are something that we talked about today as being able to plant in most places. Okay, do you know if the sweet alyssums naturally spread or do you need to broadcast the seed? So yes, they will naturally spread if you have good conditions and it's happy. It's going to spread and do really well. How often do you water newly seeded plants? So, whenever I first plant out, I would say to keep it moist, I would go every day until they sprout. But the great thing is that in these conditions, most of them are going to be sprouting within like a couple days. So you will be surprised at how fast a lot of these seeds will germinate for you. So yes, every day until they germinate, and then you can start to back off. Yeah. Oh man, 10 inches of rain. Holy cow, that's a lot. Wow. Will that make lots of nutrients leach out of my raised beds? Um, yes, unfortunately, it will. We got nowhere near 10 inches of rain, and we still had issues of having too much rain on certain days. The biggest issues you're probably going to see is blossom end rot on things like your tomatoes, squashes, um, peppers, things like that. So I'd be on the lookout for those. And I would be giving them some extra nitrogen too, trying to hopefully prevent that. Someone told me they heard green onions are toxic once they flower. Is that true? Hmm. So if you're talking about like just green onions, like the purple flowers, like the really pretty purple flowers, they're definitely not toxic. I mean, we eat those all the time and they're incredible. I mean, I love them. So I've never heard that before. Have you heard that? No? Okay. Yeah. I've never heard that. So I'm sorry. Yeah. Hopefully that's not true. I mean, I wouldn't be here today if that were true, I would say. Because we eat the purple and the white flowers whenever they come, like all the time. They're so good too. You should try it. Okay. Any tips for getting nasturtium to grow from seed? So nasturtium are ones that can benefit from soaking. So if you know that you are going to be planting them like the following day, I would just pop them in some water and then the next day just come back and pull them out. And that will help to increase your germination rate. Should sunflowers be planted away from other things? Do they inhibit the growth of other things? So, um, yeah, I mean, there are some things that sunflowers do need to steer clear of, um, but typically it's more from the roots that you have to worry about it. So, if you have like the sunflower in a container, or if you have your other plants in a container, generally you're going to be fine. But I will say too, our app has a section for companion planting, and you can see the friends and enemies for sunflowers right there as well. So you can know like which ones to kind of avoid planting sunflowers around. Okay, I need tips on germinating petunias. So I will say, whenever we started our petunias, I grew all of them inside of the Park Seed Biodome. I wish I had one handy to show you. But they are incredible. They are just these. So it's a block that you put inside of a tray, and then it has a lid on top of it, and little like vents that you can adjust. But it is incredible. I have had the best germination rate with those. So anything that I've ever had issues with germinating before in the past, I just start them inside of this Park Seed Biodome, and they thrive. Like it does amazing. Even the hardest to start herbs that I've never had luck with before, I did a sample into the biodome and they did amazing. So I would definitely check out the biodome if you haven't already. What fertilizer do you use to replenish your soil? So I will say most of the time we use just compost for to boost the soil whenever we start our planting or whenever we're replanting for the next season. We add in just a bunch of compost. Besides that, we use a lot of like things like the espoma tomato tone for things like our tomatoes. We use those at planting and then every few weeks. I mean, there's a few things that we use like extra for those. Because Espoma has like a tomato tone that we use for tomatoes, and then they have a flower booster. They have a really good one for fruits as well. So, I mean, it really kind of depends. They also just have a basic like garden tone as well. That's good for like, it's a really good balanced fertilizer for everything. Awesome. I recently downloaded the app and still learning it. Awesome. I'm so happy that you just did that. We actually did, well, Dale did a video recently. I was probably been a couple months now, but one of these sessions, we did a live stream of a going over like all of the key features and stuff like that. I've made several videos as well about like different features of the app, different things like there's a lot of videos out there on our YouTube channel. So you can definitely check them out and see because there are so many things that even people who have had the app for a long time, like we mentioned something about how there are recipes on the app, and a lot of people were like, "What? You have recipes?" So yeah, there's so much information in there. I know, but pretty much but if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out and ask us, and we'll be happy to help you find whatever you're looking for. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Tina says she's been using our app for 5 years. Thank you so much. That's terrific. Okay, suggestions on adding calcium from Yvette. Um, so it kind of just depends on like what type of plants you're trying to help out. But if you are, I mean, pretty much Espoma has everything that I ever need in there. I don't ever really need to go searching for anything outside of the Espoma fertilizers much. So like their tomato tone and everything like that will have everything that you need. So not just calcium, but like everything else that is needed for like those specific plants. But that's how I always repurpose the soil and help add things in. Okay, I live in Maine and my warm months are July, August, and September. Can I still plant most of my seeds? So, yeah, for sure. A lot of the things that we talked about today should be great because most everything that I talked about would be blooming within like some of them 3 months, but the ones that were 3 months were going to be some cold tolerance. So a lot of everything that we talked about today are things that you can definitely still start. And there's a lot of not just flowers, but there's also veggies you can still start. There's a lot of things. So make sure you check out in the app. On that first dashboard, there's a plant now section where you can see a list of a lot of different things that you can be planting in your area. And hopefully that'll help you out. Okay. Oh, Espoma liquid or granules. So we use do we have one right here? I don't think so. We usually have an Espoma bag laying around somewhere. But we get the bags and they're just little granules. So whenever we plant out, we grab like a handful, put it into the soil, mix it in. And then whenever we're going through here in like a few weeks later, we just go through and just gently like brush it into the very top layer of the soil and water it in, and it works really great. Okay, are we announcing the winner now? Okay, I think they have the winner. Let's find out who the winner is together. Congratulations, Spruce Rock Acres. So you have won this exciting package. So you have the flower seeds coming to you from Park Seed, and the Smart Pots fabric raised bed to startle them in. And also the 1 year free premium from Seed to Spoon app subscription, which is super exciting. So now you can go through, you can be asking unlimited questions to Growbot and sending your pictures up to Growbot as well for plant health, and also getting free shipping because premium 1 year subscribers get free shipping on all your orders, and through the app. Oh, and here they are. Congratulations! Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so glad it's helped you with in the garden. Yay! Terrific. Awesome. Well, I'm happy to hear it. So make sure you send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net and we'll get you hooked up. Awesome. Okay. Well, do we have any other questions before we call it? Okay. I have a few more questions. How do you keep track of what to fertilize? Suppose you have multiple plants in on a grow pot. Okay. So I use the app to go through. So we have a section in there whenever I start any seeds, I always put them into the app, into my garden. And then there's a section in there where you can tap and add an event, and you can go in there and add an event and just tap fertilize, and it'll log it all for you. So that way you don't have to be going through. Will I get fruit from store-bought pumpkins? Okay, so that's a great question. So yes, you will, but most likely the pumpkin that you got from the store is going to be like a hybrid of some sort. So you won't necessarily know what you're going to get from it because it's going to be like a combination of a couple different pumpkins. So you won't know exactly what you're going to get, but you'll get something probably. It's worth giving it a try. Be a fun experiment, right? Do nasturtiums come in purples and pinks? Um, I don't believe so. I'm trying to think of all of the nasturtiums I've seen. Most all of them are like red and orange and some like yellow. Um, yeah, I don't think so. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen a purple and pink nasturtium. Baby rose. Okay, well, it's like pinkish. It's close. Okay, why are my nasturtiums not blooming? They're beautiful green, but no color. So, uh, probably not enough sun is my guess. It's possible that I'm not sure where you're located, but it's possible that it's just really hot where you are, and they're trying to do their best to make it through the summer. Because they're not the most heat tolerant of the flowers we talked about today. They are heat tolerant, but not like extremely. Um, so they will benefit from afternoon shade if they are blooming. But I mean, that it's my guess that it's just not getting enough sun, maybe not enough time yet to bloom. Again, I've mentioned the Espoma fertilizer as well too. There's that Espoma bloom fertilizer too that you can try out. Okay. My yellow squash is coming out very pale. I also noticed the flowers seem to mold before the fruit is ready. Oh no. Maybe too much water would be my concern. I mean, that's a possibility. A lot of rain. I know a lot of people have been getting a lot of rain, depending on where you're at. We've even gotten a lot of rain here in Oklahoma. Um, that could be a likely culprit. Pollination. I mean, yeah, a few things. Try snapping a picture and sending it to Growbot. That's what I would say. Awesome. I look forward to chatting with you all too. So it's fun. I like hanging out with you guys every week. I love it. Awesome. Oh, that's so great. Wow. Met you a long time ago. Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, we started doing the home and garden shows in Oklahoma back in, oh gosh, 2018, somewhere around there. I mean, yeah, it's been a long time, but it's been a fun ride. Thanks for joining us and sticking with us. Yes, so nasturtiums do grow really well in pots. I have several of them in, yep, right there too. But yeah, I have several of them in big round raised beds as well, and then I have them in smaller pots as well, just by themselves. Yeah, have them everywhere. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm so excited that you guys all came to chat a little bit about flowers, one of my favorites. I love it. And if you don't already have our app, make sure you download it. We have that QR code right up here. So make sure you check it out. It'll help walk you through growing over 100 different fruits, vegetables, herbs, flowers, everything. And we have so many new features coming also. I'm super excited for. And we have the testers looking into right now being able to um, save Growbots responses into the garden notes. And also, we have new taking a picture of seed packets coming soon to add your own plants in and own information. It'll be really great. And also, if you guys haven't tried out the new where you can take pictures, send it up to Growbot for plant help or identifying a pest or identifying a plant, all of those, it's saved me a lot. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. And if you're not already following us on Instagram, that's true. What plants don't I love? I should do a presentation on plants I don't love. So beets, yeah, beets. I don't love beets. That's probably about the only thing that I can. Oh, mustard. But they're so pretty, so I actually do like mustard. I just don't like eating mustard. But I like growing it. But beets, I can't eat. I don't know. Maybe somebody can convert me and give me a really good beet recipe. But every way that I have tried to eat beets, I'm just like, bleh, it doesn't taste good. So, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you again